Well, if you're wondering what are the keys to victory for the Raiders or the Broncos in Sunday's AFC West showdown, then you'll want to pay close attention to Red Zone. Hello and welcome. I'm Brian Salmon, sitting in for Review Journal sports editor and host Bill Bradley. Today's guest is Review Journal NFL writer Gilbert Manzano, who has a great article at reviewjournal.com highlighting 5 things you should know about the Broncos. Welcome, Gilbert. How you doing, my man?
How's it going? B Sal? Doing well.
B, we got nicknames. That's how you and I get down. I'm doing well. I'm doing
exactly.
Well. Thank you. All right, Gilbert, here we go. Even though the Raiders, their dynamic duo of receivers Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, were shut down versus the Washington Redskins, totaling just 13 yards, they still have one of the best tandems in the NFL. So how well do the Broncos match up with the silver and black receiver?
You know, it doesn't get any easier for the Raiders. They go from Josh Norman and Breeland and Washington with that secondary. You go now to Denver against probably the best secondary of the last couple of years with, Chris Harris Jr. and Aqib Talib and, all those guys. So it doesn't get easier for Crabtree and Cooper, but you said it. They're one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, tandem as a duo, so that they got to step up. It doesn't matter how tough it is and going on the road. This is a big AFC West showdown, so you need your 2 stars.
See, the Raiders defense, well, they're ranked 27th in the league, which is around where we thought they would be entering this season. So how well do you think that D matches up against Trevor Siemian and the Broncos running game?
Actually, I know we always make fun of Trevor Siemian being a game manager, but they actually have a very good offense. So I wouldn't be surprised if Siemian goes back to week 1 and week 2 Trevor Siemian, because last week he had a bad day against the Bills. That was a tough matchup. The Bills are actually a pretty good defense, and you go all the way to New York. Now you're going back home to Denver, and I think Siemian will find his groove. That secondary for the Raiders is not so good. You saw what Josh Doctson did with Emerson. So you got Demaryius Thomas and you got Emmanuel Sanders and Benny Fowler. So they match up pretty well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Siemian gets a couple of touchdowns and does pretty well.
All right. Now, another strong suit for the Raiders, of course, is that offensive line, which really allows a running game to flourish with, guys like Marshawn Lynch or whatever. But they also protect Derek Carr very well. Generally, they didn't do so well versus Washington. So, Gilbert, how well do you believe that matchup with the Broncos' defensive line is going to go, being that that's a very big, strong suit for the Broncos?
Yeah, you don't see that offensive line for the Raiders, get manhandled the way they did in Washington. And now, again, like the wide receivers, for the offensive line, it gets harder. They have to face Von Miller and Las Vegas and Brandon Marshall and Derek Wolfe. I know the line is very good for the Raiders, but I don't care how good you are. You're not going to stop Von Miller and Derek Wolfe and those guys. So I think the thing for the offensive line is you got to stop them on the key third downs when maybe it's the fourth quarter and the game's close. You got to hold the fort and give Derek Carr time.
All right. Now, you kind of touched on this a little bit. Trevor Siemian, he's coming off a very horrible game versus the Bills. He had 259 yards, which is okay, but he had those 2 interceptions. And the Raiders' defensive backfield, which is very, very bad coming into this game. Really, they're pretty bad anyway. How much do you think that Trevor Siemian playing at home will affect his play in contrast to the fact that he played in Buffalo last week?
I think it helps him out a lot. It's a big difference, especially for a quarterback Trevor Siemian's caliber. I know he's not the best, but he gets the job done. When you have a quarterback who needs to at least get the job done, it usually helps being at home in that stadium mile high when the fans are really excited. So I think for him, it's going to do well.
Lastly, I need to get a prediction from you. Whom do you see winning this game, I guess, and why?
I know Raider fans are probably not going to be happy with me. You can have me on Twitter if you want, but I'm going with the Broncos again. Just having that home field, and also the Broncos are coming off a loss too. That Bills loss, it's hurting them right now. So they want to have a good game. So I think the Broncos step up at home and get it done, and they go 3-1 and keep pace with the Chiefs. And then the Raiders are going to probably press the panic button next week. So I'll go 24-21 Denver.
All right, we'll talk to you later. All right, folks. As you know, I said I'm sitting in for Review Journal sports editor Bill Bradley, who normally hosts his show. So next week, he'll be back. This week, you get me, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Brian Salmon for Red Zone. I will not see you next week.